Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim and in today's video we are going to learn how to use Joka in a sentence. This video is split into 13 parts. First we're going to start with a short introduction. Then in the chapters 2 till 12 we are getting to know all the different forms of Joka, which are Joka, Jonka, Jota, Johon, Jossa, Josta, Jolle, Jolla and Jolta, and also Jonna and Joksi. At the end of this video, we will as always solve some exercises together. So let's begin. Joka means who, which or that, and is a relative pronoun that introduces a subordinate clause. So in other words, Joka connects two clauses. Joka always refers to the noun mentioned earlier in the main clause, which can be for example a person, a thing or a situation, and provides additional information about that noun. Then, Joka can also appear in different cases. For example, it can appear as Jonka in its genitive case, Jota, which is the partitive case, or as Jolla, which is the adjective case. To find the correct form of Joka, it can be helpful to split the sentence into two simple ones. Let's take a look at one example. Our first sentence is Fuji on Tulivuori. Fuji is a volcano. The second sentence is Tulivuori sijaitsee Japanissa, which means the volcano is located in Japan. Now we connect these two sentences by using the relative pronoun Joka and we get Fuji on Tulivuori, Joka sijaitsee Japanissa. Fuji is a volcano which is located in Japan. So as you see here, instead of saying twice Tulivuori, we can replace the second Tulivuori by using Joka. So the extra information we get through Joka here is that Fuji is located in Japan. Alright, that was our introduction. Now let's focus on all the different Joka forms. We start with the most common one, which is Joka nominative case. So here's our first example. Tyttö, joka puhuu, on Kimberly. In English, the girl who is speaking is Kimberly. So let's go step by step. Tyttö means girl. Joka puhuu means who speaks. And on Kimberly means is Kimberly. So here, Joka refers to tyttö, which means girl in English. So it connects the girl to the action she's doing, which is speaking. So here in this sentence, Joka provides additional information about the girl Kimberly, which is that she's speaking. So let's repeat again. Tyttö, joka puhuu, on Kimberly. In English, the girl who is speaking is Kimberly. Next one. Tämä mies, joka soittaa kitaraa, on suomalainen. This man who is playing the guitar is a Finn. So let's go step by step. Tämä mies means this man, joka soittaa kitaraa, means who plays the guitar. On suomalainen here means is a Finn. So here, Joka refers to tämä mies, which means this man in English. It introduces the part that explains what the man does, in this case, playing the guitar. So here in this sentence, Joka provides additional information about the Finnish man, which is that he's playing guitar. So let's repeat again. Tämä mies, joka soittaa kitaraa, on suomalainen. This man who is playing the guitar is a Finn. One more. Nainen, joka soitti, on työkaverini. In English, the woman who called is my coworker. So let's go step by step. Nainen means woman. Joka soitti means who called. On työkaverini means my coworker. So here, Joka refers to nainen, which means woman in English. It introduces the part that explains what she did. In this case, she called. So here in this sentence, Joka provides additional information about the woman, that is my coworker. The additional information is that she called. So let's repeat again. Nainen, joka soitti, on työkaverini. The woman who called is my coworker. We carry on with the next one, which is Jonka, which is the genitive case of Joka. In English, it can be translated as whose or of which, and it's mainly used to express ownership, but it can also be used as an object marker or also in necessity sentences or also in combination with prepositions or postpositions. Let's take a look at our first example. Nainen, jonka nimi on Amy, tulee lauantaina. In English, the woman whose name is Amy is coming on Saturday. So let's go step by step. Nainen means woman. Jonka nimi on Amy means whose name is Amy. Tulee lauantaina means comes on Saturday. So here, Jonka refers to the woman, showing that the name Amy belongs to the woman. So Jonka here is used because of the concept of ownership. Here in this sentence, Jonka provides additional information about the woman who comes on Saturday. The additional information is that her name is Amy. So let's repeat again. Nainen, Jonka nimi on Amy, tulee lauantaina. In English, the woman whose name is Amy is coming on Saturday. Let's have another example. Minä olen töissä toimistossa, jonka vieressä on paljon puita. In English, I work in an office next to which there are many trees. So let's go step by step. Minä olen töissä toimistossa means I work in an office. Jonka vieressä literally means of which next to. On paljon puita means are many trees. So here, jonka refers to the office. It introduces the subordinate clause that tells us more about the office surroundings by saying that there are many trees next to it. Now, why do we use jonka here? We use jonka here because of the postposition vieressä, which means next to. You might remember in Finnish, many postpositions like vieressä, päällä, or takana require the word they refer to be in the genitive case. So when we want to replace the office with a relative pronoun, we have to use the genitive form of joka, which is jonka. So here in this sentence, jonka provides additional information about the location of the office, which is that the office is next to many trees. So jonka here is used because of the concept of postpositions. Let's repeat again. Minä olen töissä toimistossa, jonka vieressä on paljon puita. In English, I work in an office next to which there are many trees. Next one. Elokuva, jonka näin eilen, oli erittäin hyvä. In English, the movie that I saw yesterday was very good. Let's go step by step. Elokuva means movie. Jonka näin eilen means that I saw yesterday. And oli erittäin hyvä means was very good. So here, jonka refers to the movie. Again, why do we use here jonka? We use jonka here because in this sentence, elokuva is the object of the verb nähdä, which means to see. And since we want to express that we saw the whole movie, we need the genitive case here. So here in this sentence, jonka provides additional information about the very good movie, which is that I saw it yesterday. So jonka here is used because of the concept of an object marker. Let's repeat again. Elokuva, jonka näin eilen, oli erittäin hyvä. In English, the movie that I saw yesterday was very good. One more. Poika, jonka täytyy opiskella enemmän, on nuori. In English, the boy who has to study more is young. Let's go step by step. Poika means boy. Jonka täytyy opiskella enemmän, who has to study more, on nuori means is young. So here, jonka refers to the boy, but why do we actually use jonka here? Well, we use jonka here because täytyy requires the subject to be in the genitive case. So jonka stands for the one whose duty it is. You might remember how to form the necessity sentence. The rule is genitive case plus täytyy plus infinitive verb. So when we want to replace the boy with a relative pronoun in a necessity sentence, we have to use the genitive form of joka, which is jonka. So here in this sentence, jonka provides additional information about the young boy, which is that he has to study more. So jonka here is used because of the concept of a necessity sentence. So let's repeat. Poika, jonka täytyy opiskella enemmän, on nuori. In English, The boy who has to study more is young. Alright, we carry on with the next one, which is Jota, the partitive case of Joka. In English, it can be translated as which or that, and it's mainly used with partitive verbs or in negative sentences. Let's have a look at some examples. Here is our first one. Nainen, jota Mikko rakastaa, asuu Tokyossa. In English, the woman whom Mikko loves lives in Tokyo. Let's go step by step. Nainen means woman. Jota Mikko rakastaa means whom Mikko loves. Asuu Tokyossa means lives in Tokyo. So here, Jota refers to the woman, and we use Jota here because the verb rakastaa, which means to love, requires the partitive case. So here, we actually have a verb action. That's why we say Jota. So the additional information we get about the woman who lives in Tokyo is that Mikko loves her. Let's repeat again. Nainen, jota Mikko rakastaa, asuu Tokyossa. In English, the woman whom Mikko loves lives in Tokyo. Next one, let's have another example. Bussi, jota minä odotin, oli myöhässä. In English, the bus that I was waiting for was late. Let's go step by step. Bussi means bus. Jota minä odotin means that I was waiting for. And oli myöhässä means was late. So jota here refers to the bus. And we use jota because of the verb odottaa, which means to wait, which is one of the typical verbs that always require the partitive case. So that's why we use jota here. So here in the sentence, jota provides additional information about the bus that is late. The additional information here is that I waited for the bus. So to sum it up, jota is used here because of the concept of a verb action. Here with odottaa, we have a partitive verb. So let's repeat again. Bussi, jota minä odotin, oli myöhässä. In English, the bus that I was waiting for was late. One more. Maljakko, jota en ostanut, on valkoinen. In English, the vase which I didn't buy is white. Let's go step by step. Maljakko means vase. Jota en ostanut means that I didn't buy. On valkoinen means is white. So here, jota refers to the vase, and we use jota here because of the negation and ostanut, which puts the object in the partitive case. So, in relative clauses, when the object is in the partitive due to negation, the relative pronoun we need is jota. So, here in this sentence, jota provides additional information about the white vase, which is that I didn't buy it. So let's repeat again. Maljakko, jota en ostanut, on valkoinen. In English, the vase which I didn't buy is white. Alright, we carry on with the next one, which is johon, the ilative case of Joka. Johon can be translated as into which or whom. We use johon when we want to express movement towards something or with some verbs that require the ilative case. Here's our first example. Se baari, johon me menemme, on lähellä. In English, that bar we go to, or to which we go, is nearby. So let's go step by step. Se baari means that bar. The se here indicates that the bar is already known to the speaker and the listener. Johon me menemme means to which we go, and on lähellä means is nearby. So here, johon refers to the bar. Why do we use johon here? In short, because of the verb mennä, which means to go. Remember, the verb mennä is often followed by the ilative case because it implies motion towards a place. So when we want to say menemme baariin, which means we are going to the bar, we use the ilative case, hence johon for the relative pronoun. So here in this sentence, johon provides additional information about the bar that is nearby. The additional information is that we go there. So let's repeat again. Se baari, johon me menemme, on lähellä. In English, that bar we go to is nearby. Let's have another example. Asunto, johon muutin, on Tukholmassa. In English, the apartment I moved to, or to which I moved, is in Stockholm. Let's go step by step. Asunto means apartment, johon muutin means to which I moved, and on Tukholmassa means is in Stockholm. So here, Johan refers to the apartment. Again, why do we use Johan here? Because of the verb muuttaa, which means to move to. Remember, this verb is often followed by the ilative case because it implies motion towards a place. So when we want to say I moved to an apartment, we use the ilative case, hence Johan for the relative pronoun. So here in this sentence, Johan provides additional information about the apartment in Stockholm. The additional information is that I moved to this apartment. So let's repeat again. Asunto, johon muutin, on Tukholmassa. In English, the apartment I moved to or to which I moved is in Stockholm. One more. Hän on nainen, johon Jussi on rakastunut. In English, she's the woman whom Jussi has fallen in love with. Let's go step by step. Hän on nainen means she's the woman. Johon Jussi on rakastunut means into whom Jussi has fallen in love. So here, Johan refers to the woman. So here again, we have a verb action that goes with the ilative case. That's why we use Johan here. So let's repeat again. Hän on nainen, johon Jussi on rakastunut. In English, she's the woman whom Jussi has fallen in love with. Now we carry on with jossa, which can be translated as in which or where. We use jossa, which is the inessive case of Joka, when we want to refer to places or locations or for verbs that go with the inessive case. Like for example, asua, which means to leave, or käydä, which has several meanings. Let's take a look at one example. Pöydällä on kassi, jossa on laturi. In English, there's a bag on the table in which there's a charger. Let's go step by step. Pöydällä on kassi means there's a bag on the table. Jossa on laturi means in which there's a charger. Laturi means charger. Now, why do we use jossa here? Well, jossa means in which, and it refers to the bag showing where the charger is. So, let's repeat again. Pöydällä on kassi, jossa on laturi. In English, there's a bag on the table in which there's a charger. Let's do another one. Maa, jossa minä asun, on Pohjois-Euroopassa. In English, the country I live in is in Northern Europe. Let's go step by step. Maa means country. Jossa minä asun means where I live. And on Pohjois-Euroopassa means is in Northern Europe. So we use jossa here because the verb asua, which means to live, goes with the inessive case. So jossa means in which, and it refers here to maa, which is country in English, telling where I live. So let's repeat again. Maa, jossa minä asun, on Pohjois-Euroopassa. In English, the country I live in is in Northern Europe. Let's do one more. Järvi, jossa ei ole enää vettä, on kuivunut järvi. In English, a lake in which there's no more water is a dried up lake. So let's go step by step. Järvi means lake. Jossa ei ole enää vettä, in which there's no water anymore. Enää, by the way, means anymore. And on kuivunut järvi means is a dried up lake. So we use jossa here because it refers to järvi and it describes something inside it. In this case, the lack of water. And on kuivunut is the perfect tense, which means the lake has dried up over time and is now dry. It shows that the action happened in the past, but still has a result in the present. So let's repeat again. Järvi, jossa ei ole enää vettä, on kuivunut järvi. In English, a lake in which there's no more water is a dried up lake. Now we carry on with josta, which can be translated as from which, We use josta, which is the elative case of joka, when we want to refer to movement away from places or locations, or with verbs that require the elative case, like for example, tukata or kertoa. Let's have a look at some examples. Kauppa, josta minä löysin nämä lenkkarit, on Tukholmassa. In English, the store where I found these sneakers is in Stockholm. So let's go step by step. Kauppa means store. Josta means from which. Löysin here means I found. It's the first person singular past tense of the verb löytää, which means to find. And nämä lenkkarit is nominative plural and can be translated as these sneakers, these running shoes. And on Tukholmassa means in Stockholm in S case. So here we use josta because the verb löytää, which means to find, often takes the elative case, showing where something was found from. Now, since we found the sneakers, like the Finns say, from the store, in Finnish kaupasta, the relative pronoun also takes the elative form, which is josta. So, josta minä löysin nämä lenkkarit means from which I found these sneakers. So, kauppa, josta minä löysin nämä lenkkarit means the store from which I found the sneakers. Remember, in English or German, we say that we found something in somewhere. I found it in the shop, I found it in a library. However, in Finnish, you say I found it from the store, I found it from the library. That's why we use the elative case here. So let's repeat again. Kauppa, josta minä löysin nämä lenkkarit, on Tukholmassa. In English, the store where I found these sneakers is in Stockholm. Let's take another example. Tämä on se elokuva, josta puhuimme. In English, this is the movie that we talked about. Let's go step by step. Tämä on se elokuva means this is the movie. So this already implies that the movie or the title of the movie is already known to the speaker and to the listener. Josta means about which. And puhuimme means we talked. It's the first person plural past tense of the verb puhua, which means to speak. Here we use josta because the verb puhua, which means to talk, takes the elative case when we want to express that we talk about something. So josta puhuimme can be understood as the one we talked about. Josta refers here back to elokuva, which means movie in English. So let's repeat again. Tämä on se elokuva, josta puhuimme. In English, this is the movie that we talked about. One more. Lotte World Tower, josta tykkään, on Soulissa. In English, Lotte World Tower, or in short, Lotte Tower, which I like, is in Seoul. So let's go step by step. Josta tykkään means which I like. On Soulissa means in Seoul. So we use josta here because of the verb tykätä, which requires the elative case. So here, when we want to say tykätä, we use josta to refer back to the object we're liking. So that's why we use josta here in this sentence. So let's repeat again. Lotte World Tower, josta tykkään, on Soulissa. In English, Lotte World Tower, which I like, is in Seoul. Now we carry on with jolle, which can be understood as for which or to whom. We use jolle, which is the elative case of joka, when we want to refer to movement towards places or locations, such as piha, tori, or saari, or with verbs that require a commonly go of the elative case, like antaa, which means to give, or puhua, which means to speak. Here's our first one. Nainen, jolle lähetän postikortin, on ystäväni. In English, the woman to whom I'm sending the postcard is my friend. Let's go step by step. Nainen means woman. Jolle lähetän postikortin means to whom I'm sending the postcard. Jolle here means to whom, and it refers to the woman, which is nainen in Finnish. Lähetän is the first person singular present tense of the verb lähettää, which means to send, and postikortin here means the postcard. Here we are referring to a specific postcard, and on ystäväni means my friend. So again, here jolle means to whom. Let's repeat again. Nainen, jolle lähetän postikortin, on ystäväni. In English, the woman to whom I'm sending the postcard is my friend. Next one. Tyttö, jolle Jussi antaa kirjan, on Amy. In English, the girl to whom Jussi is giving the book is Amy. Let's go step by step. Tyttö means the girl. It's actually the person being referred to. Jolle means to whom, allative case of Joka, which is used when something is given to someone. Jussi antaa kirjan means Jussi is giving the book, and on Amy means is Amy. So we use jolle here because the verb antaa, which means to give, takes the allative case for the person receiving something. Now, since Jussi gives the book to the girl, we use jolle here to refer back to tyttö, which means girl in English. So, jolle Jussi antaa kirjan means to whom Jussi gives the book. So, let's repeat again. Tyttö, jolle Jussi antaa kirjan, on Amy. In English, the girl to whom Jussi is giving the book is Amy. Next one. Mies, jolle toimittaja puhui, voitti 2 Oscaria. In English, the man to whom the journalist spoke won 2 Oscars. Let's go step by step. Mies means man. Jolle toimittaja puhui means to whom the journalist spoke. Voitti 2 Oscaria means won 2 Oscars. Voitti is, by the way, the third person singular past tense of the verb voittaa, which means to win. We use jolle here because the verb puhua often takes the allative case when we want to say that we speak to someone. So, mies, jolle toimittaja puhui means the man to whom the journalist spoke. So, let's repeat again. Mies, jolle toimittaja puhui, voitti 2 Oscaria. In English, the man to whom the journalist spoke won 2 Oscars. Now we carry on with jolla, which can be understood as with which or who has. We use jolla, which is the adjective case of joka, mainly to refer to the means by which something is done, like a mode of transport, or in context where someone has something following the minulla on structure. Here's our first example. Minulla on ystävä, jolla on 2 koiraa. In English, I have a friend who has 2 dogs. Let's go step by step. Minulla on ystävä means I have a friend. Here we have the minulla on structure. Jolla on 2 koiraa means who has 2 dogs. So let's repeat again. Minulla on ystävä, jolla on 2 koiraa. I have a friend who has 2 dogs. So here in this example we use jolla because of the concept of the minulla on structure. Next one. Tyttö, jolla on flunssa, menee lääkäriin. In English, the girl who has the flu is going to the doctor. Let's go step by step. Tyttö means girl. Jolla on flunssa means who has the flu. Menee lääkäriin means goes to the doctor. Lääkäriin is the illative case of lääkäri, which means doctor. So let's repeat again. Tyttö, jolla on flunssa, menee lääkäriin. In English, the girl who has the flu is going to the doctor. So in this example, as well as in the previous one, we use jolla in the context of the minulla on structure. Let's have one more example in a different context. Bussi, jolla menen kirjastoon, on sininen. Literally means the bus with which I go to the library is blue. Let's go step by step. Bussi means bus. Jolla menen kirjastoon means with which I go to the library. On sininen means is blue. So jolla here means with which, and it refers to bussi, which means bus in English. So we use jolla here because it refers to the means of transportation, the thing with which I go to the library. Remember in Finnish, when we talk about going somewhere by vehicle, we use the adjective case. So mennä bussilla means to go by bus. So in this sentence, bussi jolla menen means the bus with which I go. So in this example, we use jolla in the context of means of transportation, meaning with which. Let's repeat again. Bussi jolla menen kirjastoon on sininen. Literally means the bus with which I go to the library is blue. Now we carry on with jolta, which can be understood as from whom or from which. We use jolta, which is the ablative case of joka, mainly to refer to a movement away from a place or location, like for example a yard, which is piha in Finnish, or also when we want to express that we bought or received something from someone. Jolta can be also, by the way, used with verbs that require the ablative case. Now, let's take a look at some examples. Ystäväni, joilta minä ostin tämän veneen, muutti Tanskaan. In English it means, my friend from whom I bought this boat moved to Denmark. Let's go step by step. Ystäväni means my friend. Joilta minä ostin tämän veneen means from whom I bought this boat. Veneen, by the way, is the genitive case of vene, which means boat. Muutti Tanskaan means moved to Denmark. Muutti is the third person singular past tense of the verb muuttaa, which means here to move to. Now, we use jolta here because the verb osta, which means to buy, often takes the ablative case when we want to refer to the person we bought something from. So jolta means from whom and refers here to ystäväni, which means my friend, the person I bought the boat from. So it connects the main clause to the detail about who sold the boat, which was my friend. So, let's repeat again. Ystäväni, joilta minä ostin tämän veneen, muutti Tanskaan. My friend from whom I bought this boat moved to Denmark. Let's take another example. Mies, joilta nainen saa lahjan, puhuu ranskaa sujuvasti. In English, the man from whom the woman gets a present speaks French fluently. Or in proper English, the man the woman gets a present from speaks French fluently. Let's go step by step. Mies means man. Joilta nainen saa lahjan means from whom the woman gets the present. Saa, here is the third person singular present tense of the verb saada, which means to get or to receive. And lahjan here is the genitive case of lahja, which means present. Puhuu ranskaa sujuvasti means speaks French fluently. So we use jolta here because the verb saada, which means to receive, often takes the ablative case when we want to express that we received something from someone. So jolta here means from whom and refers back to mies, which means man in English, which is, by the way, the one giving the present. So let's repeat again. Mies, jolta nainen saa lahjan, puhuu ranskaa sujuvasti. The man the woman gets a present from speaks French fluently. Alright. Now we will briefly touch on two less frequently used forms, which are jona and joksi. For now, let's focus on jona, which can be understood as or on which, depending on context. We use jona, which is the essive case of joka, mainly in time expressions or with verbs that require or typically go with the essive case. Here's one example. Päivä, jona tapasin sinut, oli ihana. In English, the day on which I met you was wonderful. Or in proper English, the day I met you was wonderful. Let's go step by step. Päivä means day. Jona tapasin sinut means on which I met you. And oli ihana means was wonderful. By the way, tapasin is the first person singular past tense of the verb tavata, which means to meet. So, here we use jona because it refers to a specific day on which something happened. What happened on that specific day? I met you. So, let's repeat again. Päivä, jona tapasin sinut, oli ihana. In English, the day I met you was wonderful, or literally, the day on which I met you was wonderful. Now, let's focus on joksi, which can be understood as into which or whom someone becomes depending on context. We mainly use yoksi, which is the translative case of joka, because of verb actions that require the translative case. So here's our example. Ihailen perhosta joksi toukka muuttui. In English, I admire the butterfly that the caterpillar turned into. So let's go step by step. Ihailen means I admire. Its basic form is ihaila, which means to adore. And by the way, also important to mention here is that it takes the partitive case. That's why it's followed by perhosta, which is the partitive case of perhonen, which means butterfly. Joksi means into which. It's the translative case of joka, which we use to express end states or transformations. So the whole relative clause, which is joksi toukka muuttui, means into which the caterpillar changed. So let's repeat again. Ihailen perhosta joksi toukka muuttui. In English, I admire the butterfly that the caterpillar turned into. Alright, now we arrived at our last chapter for today, the exercises. Let's get started. Fill in the gap by choosing the right option. We wanna say, the woman who called is my co-worker. Nainen soitti on työkaverini. Do we need here joka, jotta, or jonka? That's right, the answer is joka. Nainen, joka soitti on työkaverini. The woman who called is my co-worker. Next one. We wanna say the woman whose name is Amy is coming on Saturday. Nainen, nimi on Amy, tulee lauantaina. Do we need here joka, jonka, or jolla? That's right, the answer is jonka. Nainen, jonka nimi on Amy, tulee lauantaina. The woman whose name is Amy is coming on Saturday. Next one, we wanna say the bus that I was waiting for was late. In Finnish, bussi, minä odotin, oli myöhässä. Do we need here jonka, jotta, or johon? Excellent. The answer is jotta. Bussi, jota minä odotin, oli myöhässä. The bus that I was waiting for was late. Next one. We wanna say the apartment I moved to is in Stockholm. In Finnish, asunto, muutin, on Tukholmassa. Do we need here johon, jossa, or joka? That's right, we need johon. Asunto, johon muutin, on Tukholmassa. The apartment I moved to is in Stockholm. Next one, we wanna say there's a bag on the table in which there's a charger. In Finnish, pöydällä on kassi, laturi. Do we need here jolla, jossa, or joka? That's right. The answer is jossa. Pöydällä on kassi, jossa on laturi. There's a bag on the table in which there's a charger. Next one, we wanna say this is the movie that we talked about. Tämä on se elokuva, puhuimme. Do we need here joka, josta, or jota? Excellent. The answer is josta. Tämä on se elokuva, josta puhuimme. This is the movie that we talked about. Next one. We wanna say the girl to whom Jussi is giving the book is Amy. Tyttö, Jussi antaa kirjan, on Amy. Do we need here jonka, jolle, or joka? That's right. The answer is jolle. Tyttö, jolle Jussi antaa kirjan, on Amy. The girl to whom Jussi is giving the book is Amy. Next one. We wanna say the bus with which I go to the library is blue. In Finnish, bussi, menen kirjastoon, on sininen. Do we need here jolla, johon, or joka? That's right, the answer is jolla. Bussi, jolla, menen kirjastoon, on sininen. The bus with which I go to the library is blue. And our last one, we wanna say, my friend from whom I bought this boat moved to Denmark. Ystäväni, minä ostin tämän veneen, muutti Tanskaan. Do we need here jolta, jonka, or johon? Perfect. The answer is jolta. Ystäväni, jolta minä ostin tämän veneen, muutti Tanskaan. My friend I bought this boat from moved to Denmark. So that's it for today. I hope you liked this video. If you want to learn more Finnish, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day and see you next time.